What's up, guys? It's Meow, and I am back with another video, and I am back with another NASCAR Diecast review. And so, again, because I'm doing these in order of the authentic waves that each car came from, up next we have Trevor Bayne and his number 18 Devotion Nutrition Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Let's go ahead and get the diecast out of the box and get on with the review. Wow, that came off pretty easy. There's the sticker if you care. Okay. And there's the diecast out of the box. So, when it was announced last year that Trevor Bayne was going to run races in the, I guess what you would call the All-Star car for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series, people got excited. Bayne is one of those stories where it's almost a tragic tale. Not really tragic in terms of like death or something, but in a way it's kind of tragic because he had the greatest moment of his entire career, winning the Daytona 500. I think on his birthday, no less. He wasn't even old enough to drink the champagne that was getting, tossed on him, whatever. But the thing with that is that it set higher expectations for him. And those expectations just never panned out. He never won again in the Cup Series. After he got done with the Wood Brothers, he went over to Roush. And then, of course, towards the end of that, that's when Matt Kenseth came back, kind of. And then Bayne ended up running the rest of that particular season part-time. And then after that, he was kind of just done in Cup. And then he went away. And, as we know, he's got a coffee shop. I think he's got a family and whatnot. And then Fox brought him on to help with like race day and broadcast and things like that. And then he comes back and he, to drive the Xfinity car. And to be fair, he had some pretty damn good runs. I think most of the runs that he got were really good. He might have finished every single time and was in contention to win at various points in time during these races. By the way, I just want to point out how interesting it is that, it's one of these, again, another one of these rare times where you get a Toyota Supra diecast, or just, and whatnot. I think I remember seeing someone say somewhere, it might have been on Discord, saying somewhere that I guess, like the sponsors that are on a lot of these Toyota cars don't like being on diecast. I don't fucking know. It's a whole thing. We've long talked about how various sponsors don't want their products on diecast cars. It's a whole fucking thing. Looking at you, Monster Energy, by the way. But they're just one example. There's, I think, plenty of them. But yeah, I don't have the stats on me, but he did really well in the races that he ran, and people were hoping, hey, maybe this will give Bayne an opportunity to go full time for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series, or at least go full time for somebody in one of the lower series, particularly Xfinity, and sort of maybe bring him back into NASCAR. And then we get through the off season going into this year, and Joe Gibbs Racing announces Joe Graf Jr. got signed on to run races in the All-Star car, because Sammy Smith has the 18. Correct me if I am wrong in the comments, because I might be fucking this up. But if I remember correctly, the 18 is Sammy Smith's car, and the 19 became the All-Star car for Gibbs in the Xfinity Series. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments, but I think that's how that worked. But either way, Joe Graf Jr. got signed on to do a handful of races for that car, and some other drivers have been as well. But the reason why I bring up Joe specifically is not just because I'm a fan of Joe. Obviously, you guys know this. But it's also, once again, when it comes to the internet, the NASCAR community on Twitter, it's a thing that keeps getting brought up because you're like, oh, well, Bayne did so well. Why is he not getting the opportunity? Why is he good? Because people have this whole thing against Graf. One, because a lot of his fans are people he follows through Twitter, which, by the way, I've said this before and I'll say it again. A lot of us were fans of Joe before he followed us. So just because he follows us, we have the Twitter group chat, all this other stuff, that doesn't mean shit. You know, and to be fair, like, Graf's had, I mean, you go all the way back to the Daytona 500, which I think he ran, or not the 500, the Daytona opener for Xfinity. You know what I meant. I think he was in this car for that race. And he did really well there. And some other stuff, but it's like, it's a lot of unnecessary hate thrown on Joe, and people have pointed out with Trevor that a lot of it, and Trevor's even said it himself before, a lot of it boils down to sponsorship. I think Trevor has said at one point earlier in the year, it was reported that Trevor had said that he almost had a deal to run full-time for somebody in Xfinity, but then the sponsorship fell through. And some people wondering if it had to do with the crypto thing because of what had happened with Landon Castle and the 10 car for Colleague and all this other stuff. But either way, you know, it was nice to see Trevor come back to NASCAR, and you know, the hope is that maybe he will get some sort of opportunity again at some point. Nobody knows when, and a lot of it just boils down to sponsorship. And I think because he's kind of a little older, I don't know how old he is, but he's a little bit older. He had been out of NASCAR for a while. The fact that he even got a part-time ride in the first place is kind of crazy, if you ask me. And all this other stuff. The hope is that, you know, we'll see him again, but I think at the same time, I think he's also kind of content with where he's at. And yeah, so with all that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. No real issues with the Diecast. I didn't even mention that in the LaJoy video, but no real issues with the Diecast, which you always love to see. And like I said, I will catch you all next time. Peace.